All right, guys, today we're going to talk about how to flip a tire. Before I get started, if you want to get a hold of one of these, I've got a lot of people that have asked me where I get my tires. You can join Untamed Strength and have unlimited access to a tire. Or if you want to get your own, you go to a tire depot, you ask them if they have any unserviceable tires. These are tires that they cannot legally sell because they have holes in them, the tread's worn down. And what they have to do is pay someone to come pick it up if they want to get rid of it. So if you come in and you say that you want to take it off their hands for free or for a small price, they're usually more than happy to give you one of these tires. So the benefits to flipping one of these tires are it's great to strengthen your back, your legs, and your hips. If you're a football player or a rugby player, it is a good coaching tool to keep you to teach you how to keep your hips low and apply force in a low position. And if you're planning on doing a strongman competition at any time, they might have a tire flipping event. So if you want to be a good strongman, you have to get good at flipping tires. All right, guys, so what you'll usually see is a tire that is very small, very low to the ground. I don't like using these tires for anything other than sledgehammer slams. I don't like flipping these tires because you can't get in the correct position to flip the tire. A lot of CrossFitters use these small tires and they'll do them for high reps. The reason is the technique that you use to flip a tire is completely wrong. So what it usually looks like is more of an ugly deadlift. So they'll walk up to the tire, feet nice and close to the tire. They'll squat down like this. They'll have their hands here. So really the only thing they're doing is flipping it with their hands. So it becomes more of like a power curl, and it looks like this, right? And so they're flipping it with their arms, and then do a bunch of reps like that. That is not an ideal way to flip a big tire. So come on over here. When you get a bigger tire like this, you're not going to be able to flip it in that ugly deadlift position. Not only are your biceps in a vulnerable position, you can possibly pull them, but it's also not a good way to flip the tire because it's much more difficult, right? You're using a lot of arms to flip the tire. So you have to realize that everyone's tire flip is going to look different. Someone who's 6'8" and someone who's 5'2" are going to have different looking techniques when they flip a tire. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how I teach it to an average person. So first we'll start with feet placement. You want to get your feet right under your hips. If you were to do a vertical jump test, you're not going to jump with your feet way out here, right? So get your feet in, more of almost like a deadlift position, I'd say. So bring your feet in pretty narrow. So you'll be there. You're going to step away from the tire. Rather than that ugly deadlift technique where you step right to the tire and bend over like this, I want you to step back. And then if you've played football, you'll understand what I'm talking about here. You're going to go ahead and get in a three-point stance. So you'll get down like this, and you're going to put your shoulders on the tire, right? So you want to dig your shoulders into the tire, chin on the tire. Your hands, I would suggest placing wide like this, so they're outside your legs. When you put them in here like this, you're really relying on your biceps again. So your hands are not doing anything other than acting as cables, right? So you're in here, and what you want to do now is pull the tire into your shoulders. So you want to make sure you have really, really good shoulder contact with the tire, right? So from here, all I'm doing is driving my feet through the floor. Just like that, in a 45-degree position. What you don't want to do is get your feet so far back that you're pushing directly into the tire and you're losing traction like this. And you don't want to bring them so close to where your back is in a super, super rounded position. So find that position where your feet are back, lean against the tire, hands wide, drive your feet through the floor, keep your hips under your shoulders. Drive your feet through the floor, just like that. Don't let your hips shoot up above your shoulders. That's also a bad thing to do when you're deadlifting the barbell. So what I mean is you're here, don't let your hips shoot up and then you try to pull it with your back, right? Get that shoulder nice and tight in the tire, drive your feet through the ground. All right, so once you get the tire off the ground to your waist position, if you're strong enough, you can follow through with the knee, and if the tire is moving fast enough, you're just going to follow with your knee and push it over, so it looks like this. Just like that, okay? If it's a much heavier tire, break it up into two parts. Part one, get it off the ground, up to your hip. And this, put the knee through, bring your hands in a little bit and start inching it up your body. Like this, inch it up, get your hands under, and push from there. So again, I'm gonna go back to the small CrossFit tire is what I call it, and try to use that same technique that I taught on the big tire. You can't do it. You would have to get incredibly low like this, which just looks really stupid. So if you can't use a gigantic tire like that, get a wide tire like this one that's much lighter, right? So, we got our landlord coming through here. She'll go around. So this tire is relatively light, but it's tall, right? So you're able to get in that position like this, right? Same position, right through, all right? So for you beginners, avoid the small, low tires. Get a smaller, lighter tire that's high, all right? That's wide. So that's it, guys. Hope that helps. Always remember, train untamed.